Hi, Owen.
Hello, Harun. How are you?
I'm well. I'm well. Welcome.
Thank you. I, I'm waiting for some people to join in.
Yes, yes. We'll give it about 10 minutes to wait and see if people join. If they don't, we'll just continue, the two of us.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. I'll just turn around.
Welcome, Gadir.
Thank you, Andre.
I'm just waiting to see if more people will join. If they don't, we can go on just the two of us, or I can address any issues you might have around Cardano that you've been having, or yeah.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, I think we can get started. So let me ask you, since it's just you who's joined, I don't know if it's because we changed the times that people are not joining or why they haven't joined. Possibly they're used to 8 p.m., but then we decided to change because there was a class in South Africa that said that they would be joining if it was early. I don't know what's happening over there. So would you like to continue with what we had planned, learning about SDKs, or is there anything in particular you'd like us to talk about?
Well, as me, I'm new in the ecosystem, but I can just take this moment to ask some. I mean, just one question. I have an issue to access Andomio. When I try to connect it to my wallet, it keep repeating, telling me that it give me a message as try again with another. Okay, just a second. Let me get closer the error message. Let me look for the error message. I can even try and share it with you.
Okay.
So give me a second. I'm looking for it. By the way, I'm using internal for my wallet.
Okay.
Let me just find the error message. Just a second. But also, if there is someone who has a question, you can just continue while I'm looking for the error message.
Okay. Mick Owens, I think you know this issue of being able to access Andamio. Have you experienced it with the wallet?
Yeah, I had experienced it, but then I was guided during the sessions for the hackathon.
Yeah. Maybe you can help Gaudia. He has an issue where when connecting, he gets an error. What was the solution, if you can remind me?
Okay, maybe if he's connecting through the browser, maybe to deactivate other wallet extensions, then try.
But I don't have another wallet. I have just one wallet.
Can you share your screen?
Yeah, let him share the screen then.
Just hold on a bit.
Hi, Robertino.
Hey, Haroon, how's it going? All good?
It's good. We are having low turnouts since we changed the timing, so I'm wondering whether it's the time that is confusing people or people are not available at this time. Maybe we should restore it to the previous time.
Yeah, no idea. Maybe I'm subscribed to the calendar, so I get the. If you move it, I'm getting an update, so I will always be there. I'm always up to date with the timing, but maybe not everyone subscribes to the calendar.
Yeah.
Today we're doing like helping out with issues or like a.
So I had planned to walk over to give people a walkthrough of a repo of how to design like an SDK for Cardano smart contracts. But since we are few, I thought I'd first of all address any issues anyone has within the ecosystem, and then I can still do that session. Since it will be recorded, I can always share the links, and whoever wants to go through can go through it.
Nice.
Go
there. Are you sharing?
No. Just trying to. I'm opening first the wallet, so I'm looking for the Candamio link. I'm looking for it.
Okay.
Maybe could you tell us which wallet he is using?
Eternal.
Eternal.
Okay.
Meek, are you a real person?
Yes. Gadur
Oh, I'm
has
sorry.
an issue. We're trying to solve Gaudier's issue. He has an issue connecting to Andamio, and then I can begin with my session. Yeah, I'm getting an error while trying to connect with Eternal. Welcome, Moses.
Okay.
Or I could just be going on, and then feel free to interrupt me when you're ready. I'll just stop, and then we can sort it out. Is that okay?
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
Harun, you've got yourself on mute there, boss.
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
gonna have to restart.
Thank you. This is a continuation of a session we had in Q4 of 2025 for walkthrough of a repository walkthrough. In Q4 2025, we talked about the on-chain part of it, of this payment subscription smart contract by Anastasia Labs. The focus was the design specification document, mainly what it does, and how to run tests, and how to write efficient code with tests, and using the design specification document as a blueprint to write your code. So this is a continuation now for the off-chain part. So just as a recap, I can just take you guys on a high level of what the smart contract does, so that when we go to the off-chain code, it's not that it's at least a bit more digestible. So this contract has 3 validators. It has okay, first of all, a payment subscription smart contract is more or less just like any other subscription contract. You want to pay for Netflix. So you subscribe, you put in ADA, but then because we are working with smart contracts, we will have to lock up the ADA in a smart contract where the owners of the platform, let's say if it's Netflix, can be able to access the funds. And also the person who's subscribing has the option of canceling and or withdrawing their funds or continuing adding subscriptions. The easiest way to comprehend this without making it look too wordy is to show the architectural diagram. So as you can see, we have the account validator, we have the service validator, and then we have the payment validator. So the account validator is what you would think of as authentication if you're from a Web2 background, where you would input your details in order to get access to the entire system. So it has 2 endpoints. That is the okay. So with Aiken, we have what is called a multi-validator. So all these 2 are validators, are multi-validators. Within them, we have the mint purpose endpoint and the spend purpose. So the mint purpose mostly controls the minting of tokens, and the spend purpose handles the spending of UTXOs. Why you're using the mint purpose in this specifically is because we chose to use the CIP68 standards so that we can be able to track the user. We do have a session on it. If you go to our DevX sessions, that talks about CIP68 and what it is all about. CIP68, what it does mostly is that it allows you to mint 2 tokens at the same time, where one lives in your wallet address and the other one lives in a smart contract. But then they have a postfix and a prefix that you can be able to use to track the token and its associated user. Because if you have this token, just to make it simple, if you have this token in your wallet and it relates to a certain UTXO in the smart contract, it goes without saying that that token belongs to that individual. Okay, so the service validator now is what the organization would use. This now creates a service such as Netflix, YouTube, whatever service you would want to create. And now this it was controlled by the merchant. This is controlled by the subscriber. This is what the merchant interacts with. And then we have the payment validator. This is more or less a linear vesting. Linear vesting, what it means is, if you understand vesting, is literally just locking up funds until a specific time so that they can be released. Linear vesting means you do this consecutively. After, let's say, if it's for 12 months you're paying, so after every 30 days, the funds can be withdrawn. So this is just a high-level overview of what this contract does. Do you have any questions still there? Don't forget, there are no wrong questions here. If you feel too overwhelmed, please feel free to state it. I'll take it slowly and be more clear. If there are no questions, I'll go on and I'll jump to the meat of this design specification document so that at least you can be able to understand how it connects to an SDK. So like I said, the 3 contracts, and this defines mostly the on-chain code. Maybe I can share a link to the other tutorial. So for whoever who didn't attend can go through it and can go through it and know and get a bit more context. Just share it here for the on-chain part of it, because someone wants to go over it by their own time. The good thing with these repositories I'm showing is that they are all open source, so you can always go through it at your own free time, tinker with it, play with it, and find out what it is they do. So in this design specification document, you'll see we have the specification part. This is mostly the on-chain part and the transaction part. So this is mostly what we'll be covering when we talk about off-chain SDKs or the off-chain part of it. So if we are to go to the service validator, this is just a simple diagram to illustrate what is happening. You have a UTXO. It goes through the service validator. It mints one service NFT, and then it mints another service reference NFT. So this reference NFT is the one that goes into the smart contract. The service NFT is the one that goes to your wallet. And this is usually passed through the redeemer. So this is the create service endpoint. As you will see, there will be one service NFT going here, and then there will be one service reference NFT going to the other part. So as we make transactions, as we build transactions in the off-chain code, this is what guides us to know exactly what we want to do and what we want to use in our off-chain code. So this is one such endpoint, create service. Of course, we have others. We have update service. We have remove service. Each and every one showing exactly what UTXOs are needed as inputs and what outputs we expect once they pass through the validator. So maybe we can move on to now the meat. So I'm making it very high level because of time constraints. So I think I should share more. Just share so that we can be able to move easily. So I can do that. Have this here and have this here. Let's start with a simple one for context. So we've looked at create service as an example, where we have one user who's initiating a transaction. They will connect their wallet, and then they will be able to mint a service NFT and a service reference NFT, and we will expect two outputs, one to the user wallet and one to the smart contract end. So here, let's look for the service endpoint. So feel free to ask any questions. So this is just the basic structure of the SDK. We have the docs, modules. This has it was a partnership between Anastasia Labs and Maestro. So we have like the docs for the API endpoints, and then we have the source. The source is very simple. We have 3 folders: core, endpoint, and examples. Examples are for anyone who wants to play around with the endpoints. You can just come and see how you would use that SDK. So when using the SDK, you'd just literally call like the endpoint, where is it? Create account, pass in Lucid, and then you'll pass in the configs. We'll get to configs later. But then if you are a third party who wants to use this SDK to create an account or a service. This is an example of how you'd use it in your own application. And by that, you would be importing from, I've not shown here clearly, but then you'd be importing from the payment subscription SDK. So the endpoint is where all the action lives. Here's where we can create account, create service, deploy scripts. We can extend subscriptions, initiate subscriptions. If your service has a penalty, let's say like an insurance service, I'm aware that some insurance services, if you pay for a long time and you cancel, there's usually a penalty. So the merchant, the person who owns the service, will be able to also withdraw the penalty fees. They can also withdraw the normal monthly fees. The subscriber can remove the account. The merchant can remove the service. The subscriber can also withdraw their funds if they want to stop using. Because in a smart contract, it works a bit differently. Normally, when you're paying for a subscription service, you pay 1 month at a time. But then with a smart contract, you have the option of paying like in bulk. You can pay for like the whole year, but then it would only withdraw after the specific time has elapsed. So if you're unsatisfied, if you had paid for a long time and you feel like you're unsatisfied after 2 or 3 months, you would use the subscriber withdraw. You can also unsubscribe, which will also trigger this. You can update your account, and the merchant can also update the service. So create service is what we were looking at. So this is now the transaction building when it comes to off-chain code. Actually, this is what you would want to focus on when it comes to building transactions on Cardano. We used Lucid Evolution for this, but you can as well use Mesh.js or any other off-chain library to be able to build your transactions. So, like I said, we have a user who has assets, who has ADA. So we need to be able to collect that ADA. So collect from is an Lucid endpoint, but then the selected UTXO is what we now select from the wallet. How do we get the selected UTXO? Anastasia Labs has this, rather Lucid Evolution had this cool feature called Redeemer Builder. It helps you build redeemers by thinking of them as only inputs or outputs. So you would use this now when you're creating your redeemer. You'll get to that. But then for the selected UTXOs, you'll be able to get them from your wallet itself. So let me see. Where do we start? I don't know if this is a good place to start or we should start before this. So we have the validator here. We're getting the validator from the blueprint. Sorry? Any question? So we have the validator here. Once we have compiled the on-chain code, this here, it produces a blueprint, this Plutus.json. Since this is not a monorepo, we have 2 repos. We usually build, I can build so that we get this Plutus.json. And then we'd come and copy it here inside our core. Under compiled, and we have a Plutus.json. So we have functions to be able to go through the validator and get all the endpoints. So this is just a helper function to read this Plutus.json. Where are we? Create service. Good. So here, when we say get multi-validator, what we mean is we are literally just getting the validator from the Plutus.json. And then now we are getting the police ID of the service and of the service contract. We're using that. We'll use that to get the reference token name this reference token M from the contract, and also the user token from the user's address. Of course, the merchant address, this is your wallet address normally. And the selected UTXO is literally, we're just literally just getting the UTXO from the selected output reference. Is there anyone who doesn't know what an output reference is here? I can explain a bit. If you're all good, we can continue. Yep, so we get the selected UTXO. This is a helper function to create the CIP68 token names. We're using the selected UTXO from the user's wallet. And then we create the redeemers and we create the datum. So as you can see here to my left, merchant wallet UTXO, mint UTXO, there is a service validator UTXO which has a datum, and this is the datum explaining exactly what each field is for, and this is the exact same as this. Here you might be saying config and wondering what config is. We'll get to that, but then it's just a wrapper for the main things needed for this contract in order for it to work, the unique aspects of each validator. And we put them in a config for easy to be able to easily pass them across functions. And that's what we pass here. So here for creating service, we would have this create service config, which again has all these items we've listed here. The output reference, the policy service fee policy ID, service fee asset name, service fee penalty fee policy ID, the penalty fee asset name, the penalty fee, the interval length. Interval length is like, let's say if we said 30 days is the interval length for the linear vesting. Number of intervals would be like, if you paid for a year, they would be like 12 intervals. Is active is just to say, is the service active or not, so that we can know whether to proceed with the action or not. Now, after collecting the configs, the address, and the validator, we can get the tokens, and this is just the assets. And now we can pass all of this to our transaction builder. Remember, we said this is now the transaction building process. We call Lucid new transaction. We collect from our wallet. Then we are minting assets. The minting assets are this, the reference token and the user token. I've just done this to consolidate them for easy readability. And then now there is now the payment. Where do we want these things to go? So we pay to the merchant address. Remember here, there's one that was going to the merchant. There's a service NFT that was going to the merchant. And so we are paying to the merchant address, and we are taking the user token, not the reference token, from the CIP68 NFT tokens. Then now we can also pay to a contract. This is now the second part over here. This is where now we will require the datum. As you can see, the design spec also lists the datum as a requirement for the second output. So we would call validator.mint address. This should not confuse you. This is just an internal way of calling the service validator, nothing special. But then now the minting endpoint of the service validator, not the spending endpoint. Remember when we spoke of multi-validators, we have the spending path, and then we have the minting path. This is some boilerplate just to show the kind of datum we want. And we also pass the reference NFT. Here we are passing the user NFT because we are paying to the address. Here we are passing the reference NFT because we are paying to the contract. And now we would attach the minting policy, the policy itself, which is the minting endpoint of the service validator, and we complete program. Complete program is mostly an effect library thing. Like when you see yield here might confuse you. Yield is mostly for this library, we used effect the effect library. I don't know if you guys know more about the effect library, but then it's just it's like a framework. The way we have React for front end or React Native, now effect is more of a framework for the entire of TypeScript. Like if you want to build TypeScript code in a standard way, Effect has a really good library that ensures that your code is built more accurately and type safe. That's what allows it allows for easy readability and access, and also it's for the to help developers be able to understand code easier with this go-to definitions. So yield should not scare you. Yield is mostly just await. For those people who haven't used effect, it's literally just await. So if you're not using effect, you'd just say await Lucid, and then you'd run this. Anywhere you see yields with a star, just understand it's effect. So this is the endpoint, and the others are also the same, more or less. But then now specific to what it is that they do. That was create service. If we went to update service, it would be the same, but then now the function is now updating the datum, changing the datum from what it was to something new. Now, this is another thing that the CIP68 pattern helps with, being able to update your contracts. After someone has paid, you would need to update this to show what the balances that are left. But then again, just like we have done with the rest, it's literally just collecting all the information that you would need for that contract for the purpose of passing it in the transaction builder. So where are we calling this from? Where are we calling this endpoints from? These endpoints, for the purposes of testing and building, we are calling them from our test files. Let's see. Okay, this is a wrapper for ease of understanding. Let me see. Tests. Create service test.ts. So here we have a simple test for creating a service, and we are calling this create service test case. Again, this is in helper functions, just to help us be able to test clearly. And this now is where this is where we put in the information that we're testing. Like for example, the config that we have in the service endpoint, this is where we put in all the data. So we created a config. There's this types.ts that has different configs. So for creating a service like we have here, the config will more or less need this. So that's what we input here among anything else we would need here. So the only difference between this and this, you can see, is the selected outrep, because this comes from the wallet. But then everything else is unique to this particular service endpoint. So using this, we can model the things we want, the selected UTXO, we can get the UTXO. Lovelaces, this is hard-coded, because again, it's for test purposes. And we would pass all the information we need to our config. This is empty because ADA is usually empty. Service fee can be any number the merchant or the owner of the service feels they need to fill. Again, penalty, ADA is blank. Penalty fee, if you choose as a merchant to add penalty fee, it's an optional field. Is it optional? Should be indicated there, but then yeah, it should be optional. And the intervals that I was talking about, this means this person is paying for 1 year. And now interval length, we had coded here an interval length of, I think this is about a month or something. So create service program is what we are calling, is the endpoint we started looking at when we jumped into the off-chain SDK. So here you, again, effect should not really bother you that much if you're not into effect. I'm showing this just for the purposes of understanding a flow to follow. And I would advise, if you're interested in creating libraries, you have a look at this repository at your own free time. It's in the Anastasia Labs repo. You'll find the payment subscription, there's the off-chain, and there's the on-chain. So here we would just call create service program, which is what we started by looking at. So here again is the config I said I'd come back to that we are passing. And as you can see, most of the things that are needed are being passed into the datum, other than the selected outref, which is coming from your wallet. So after the program has run and complete program is called, again, complete program is usually, it's just for effect. If you are using normal TypeScript, you just say complete. Now, once that's done, you need to sign the transaction. This is what we're using. So we take this, what was returned from the create service program. So we returned create service unsigned. We take the create service unsigned, and then we sign with wallet, and then dot complete. Now to get a transaction hash, we will take this and do create service signed dot submit, and what we would return would be the transaction hash you normally see in maybe your wallet when you're just finished a transaction, or in any app you are using. So this is an example of how to build off-chain code. As an SDK is mostly how you organize your code, not the code. This can be off-chain, but you can always build it to be a library. Why I chose to teach or focus on SDK building today is because this is one of the biggest points of opportunity when it comes to Cardano development, because the barrier to entry when it comes to developing on Cardano is very high. So many times you'd find it would be much better if a developer came and found readable API endpoints that they can call, instead of having to build their own smart contract. And if you can get your smart contract audited and ensure that it is completely safe, wrapping it with an SDK is a very good way for distribution, very effective and fast way for distribution, while reducing the risk of failure and also repetitive programs built by many people. Like, many people are building the same thing over and over again. So any questions still there, or any part you guys would like me to focus on more?
Thank you for the overview, Arun. I'm good, but if someone wants to ask any questions.
Sorry, any question, Gauthier?
Yeah, not a question, actually. Where to get this? That's the documentation.
Oh, so let me share the links to the repo. Subscription. So this is a very high level overview. If you
Yes.
if we had more time, I would have gotten deeper into it. Off chain.
Will this example be updated with Evolution SDK?
I do not think so. I'm not aware, but then I do not think it will be updated with Evolution SDK. But I could do it. Well, it depends on the team, but then I don't think it will be. But this repo, the payment subscription, is a very good repo to go through for anyone who wants to know Cardano. It was one of my very first projects at Anastasia Labs. It taught me a lot to do with writing documentation. It has all sorts of documentation from design specification document to how to write these readmes, how to use the endpoints. So it's a very good blueprint for anyone who wants to have like a professional looking blueprint. It also has tests. Let me see. Yeah, you can also just run tests to see if everything passes. There's a good GIF here that shows exactly how to do that. As you can see here, it has 13 tests that all pass. This is mostly for the off-chain code. The on-chain code as well is the same. It also has good documentation on what everything does, what it's supposed to do, and also how to run the tests and the number of tests it has. It has so many tests. This one takes a long time to load the tests, about 3 minutes or so. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, because it has many fuzzy tests. But then again, I really insist for people who are serious about getting into Cardano, please, at your own free time, go over this repo. It's very well documented. On top of this, there are also specific tests for Catalyst. If you intend on doing like a Catalyst project, it has good examples of the documents Catalyst usually needs. Are they here? Let me see. Tests. Yeah, test.readme. It also has like documentation on the tests and what each particular test is supposed to, the outcome you're supposed to get. It also has now the endpoints that were worked on by Maestro and what you're supposed to get after running each and every test. Any more questions? So for anyone else who has questions or is feeling shy in this meeting to ask questions, we do hold one-on-one meetings. We do hold one-on-one meetings, so you can just come to the developer experience repo. I'll share here. And you can schedule a call with either Uche, Emmanuel, Dan, or myself. We'll be happy to work with you in whatever way you feel like can be of great help to you in your journey within Cardano. That was my very condensed lesson on building SDKs. If we had more time, I would have gone more in-depth. If you guys would want to hear or go through a more in-depth one, I'd like to hear it. So you can just ping me. and we can do it. We can go through every endpoint line by line a bit slower, or we can make another call specifically for that. Yes, Robertino.
One thing that I think is cool to do is to build it like not a full, maybe like a fully fledged endpoint, but like or a simple one that interacts with just a couple of contracts, like 2 transactions, something like that. Because while you're building it and people see, you can sort of like run transactions with an incomplete off-chain code, and you'll get an error, and you can say, okay, this error, it happens because we are missing like the datum or something like that. And it's I found it more deductive if you can go through the process, because the code at the end, it looks beautiful. It always does. But
yes,
during the procedure is different, right? So I think it's good to do things like that.
Yeah. I completely agree. One thing I wanted to do was the pattern I was talking to you about. We're starting with the always succeed scripts, so that we can just focus on now just wiring, and like you're saying, go filling up just maybe one contract or two, where we can fill up one at a time as the errors pop up. But that would require a bit of time, wouldn't it? Like maybe 2 hours.
Yeah, maybe.
Do you think it's possible to maybe have more structured sessions around such things, so that we can have people feeling empowered to go and just try out? Because I know, like you're saying, if I was a listener here, I also feel like I'd find like this is a bit overwhelming.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the contract doesn't need to be super complicated to be useful. If you're learning the tool itself, like reducing the surface area, I think is valuable. So, like even if I don't know, if we could do everyone in their own, like we could do like a follow along kind of thing, where like we implement, I don't know, linear vesting or something like super simple.
Yeah.
On chain, one lecture on chain, why the decision, why this check, why not this other check, possible attacks, how to prevent those, yada yada. Like one lecture of like an hour, maybe an hour and a half of that. And then another one for the off-chain. And at the end of those 2 lectures, everyone has their own codes that they wrote themselves. If I don't know if that's something that people from here will appreciate and will want to do, I think things like that are cool.
I think that would be very ideal. The reason why we don't do it like that at the moment is the developer advocate program, or rather these working group sessions, were not structured as more of an educational platform. They were structured more of a community outreach feedback loop type of thing. So we more than just show and tell, we prefer if people come and share their issues, and maybe share pain points that they are experiencing, so that we can solve those issues. But then you'd find that many people do not know what to ask, as has been my experience. So we end up creating a timetable where we have different aspects of Cardano that we can share with people, or developments, just to educate. And hopefully in that process, you'd find someone having one issue or the other. And from that, we can get feedback and maybe try and improve. But I would really also appreciate if we had like a structured curriculum of maybe even maybe 3 months or something every week, where we follow up on something until everyone has built something. Yes, Ian?
Thanks for the chance to contribute to this meeting. I want to chime in on the B2F said we need a structured curriculum. and I've been working towards building something like that using the Andamio SDK, and I would appreciate your input because the first step is coming with a roadmap that separates the app developer side and the code developer side.
Ian, is it something that you'd say is ready or almost ready?
We've been having sessions as an Andamio pioneer for the past 3 weeks, and right now I'm in the stage where now I'm supposed to start building.
Where do you hold these sessions?
Monday at 7 p.m. East African time.
Where?
In their Discord.
Okay. I'd like maybe to join one of your sessions and see how it's going. I'm sure it would be of value.
Let me share a link in the chat.
We're a bit past the time, so I have another meeting. So it was great. Thank you for the presentation, Harun, and thank you everyone for coming. So yeah, we'll be in touch. I'll be in touch, especially in Discord.
Thank you so much for joining. You can feel free to go, guys. Like, just waiting for Ian's link so that we can also get another source of learning.
Check it in the in-call messages.
It hasn't appeared for me. Has it appeared for any other person? Yes, Godia.
Yes, Arun. The problem is, whatever you have shared today, I'm not able to see it on the chat. I don't know if it's at my end. I don't know.
All the links I've shared, I can share them again.
All the links, none of them appear at my end.
Okay, let me just share them again. Ian, even yours I can't see on the chat.
Even the one for Ian, I'm not able to see them. I don't know if there is a setting somewhere.
Is anyone else having that problem of?
Yeah, Harun. I can't see any links on the chat.
Are you serious? Wow. Okay. I don't know. Moses? Are you guys in the developer water cooler group in Discord?
Yeah.
Let me just share all the links there. Ian, please, if you don't mind, you can also share there.
Sharing it.
Atakula is a group?
Yeah, there's a developer advocate water cooler group in Discord.
It seems like I'm not yet a part of that group. If
Are you a member of? Are you a member of Intersect?
Yes, already.
Okay. Are you in the Intersect developer? Are you in the Intersect Intersect MBO Discord group?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me just share my screen one bit. So in the Intersect MBO, in the Intersect MBO group, we have this open source committee. Can you find it?
Intersect.
This Intersect MBO group.
No, it seems I'm not there.
Do you have this group?
I have Intersect. The one in blue,
Yes.
plain blue and white. Yes,
Yes.
that's one I am. I am within
Okay. Can you see this open source committee?
open source community.
Committee.
No. I can just see committee apps, but that one I am not yet in. Yeah.
That's strange. You should, if you're in Intersect, you should be able to see the Intersect. Okay, can you see any of this? Intersect steering committee, budget committee. Can you see any of this?
Let me check if I can see budget committee. Budget community. Yes, I can see budget community.
Okay, continue going down. After that, you should be able to see membership and community committee. Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see membership and committee.
Okay, as you go down, you'll see open source committee.
Open source. Yes. I can see open source.
Okay, under open source committee, the second last, there's a open source office update, open source committee, and then there is developer advocate water cooler.
Oh yeah, water cooler. Yes.
Yes, that's the one. Yes, just say hi in the group.
Okay, right. At the same time. Done.
Yes, perfect. Yes, Ian?
If we could utilize the Andamio SDK, we could also solve the issue that has been in the repository for like 2 weeks, where disassembler said that there are some parts for developing in Cardano that are not catered for in the DevX repo.
Well, okay, currently we are in the process of trying to consolidate the repositories and how they'll be worked on, and consolidating like all the resources. So we are working with Cardano Foundation to try and see if and how the repos would be better managed, because we're seeing a challenge where there are like multiple sources of information and whatnot. Is that what you're talking about, or what exactly you're talking about?
Yeah. Also, another point that disassembler raised, he said that there are multiple sources of information, but he also said that you see the path for becoming a core protocol developer. We don't have any resources, but most of them are in the YouTube channel for input output.
Okay, yeah. So IOHK, IOG, Intersect, and Cardano Foundation are actively working towards that. That's why even Robertino was here. I think you know Robertino. He is from IOG as well. So we are working towards consolidating everything. Most of the developer things and resources, we want them to move into Cardano Foundation, whereas the maintenance now to stay with Intersect. And because now Intersect cannot maintain every open source project, our priority is to start with at least the core repositories.
Okay, fair enough.
Any more questions? H Pro, you've been quiet today. Are you good?
Yeah, yes, Aaron, I'm good. How are you? How are everybody?
I'm well. Yes, go there.
Yes, Aaron. I think for my issue of connecting my wallet to Andomio,
Mhm.
we just generate. I mean, I will ask for 101 through the system. At least that will be effective.
Okay, sure. No worries. No worries.
Okay.
You just schedule a session. I'll be happy to help.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So thank you for joining, guys. Time is up. Thank you for your patience. Again, in case of anything, feel free to reach out. I'm always available to help. Take care, guys.